Hey Jews, don't want to be a party pooper or anything, but we're all gonna die. So just want to, first of all, we're all gonna die, like at some point. And Rav Kuli in Moam Loaz, he says, like, you know, since it's a certainty that we're all gonna die at some point, it behooves us, and it's really of the utmost importance that we all take a look at what that means. What does our life mean, and what happens when we die? And there are definitely answers to all those questions in the Torah. See, the Torah was passed down from God through, I forgot Adam and Adam and Eve, through Seth to Noah. Noah and Adam knew one another, okay? And then to one of Noah's sons, Shem. Noah had two other sons. He had Ham and Yafet. Okay, but he didn't give that information to them. This information of God followed, it followed a line, and a lot of it was word of mouth. Okay, so Noah and Adam knew one another. Then there was the flood here. And then Noah gave that information of God and our reality to Shem. And Shem gave it to Avraham. And Avraham knew Shem. And Shem had an academy. What made Avraham also really special was that by the time Shem set up his academy with his grandson Eber, it was just like whoever went over there to learned. But Avraham was very special because he made it known to everybody that of the information about God, because everyone at Abraham's time was an idol worshiper. Just trying to get this glare off of, maybe that's better. Anyway, so the information of God in our reality went through a specific line. It was entrusted to the Jews, who are the descendants of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the 12 tribes, specifically looking at the tribe of Levi, because they never broke this chain. And in Egypt, they were not slaves because they didn't break this chain. They kept all of God's commandments in Egypt, and they separated themselves from the other people that were also in Egypt. And they were always free. So then Moses came from the tribe of Levi, and he brought down and wrote down for us the Torah. And that's how we became the nation of Israel. Okay, so we know a lot of things that nobody else knows because it's in the Torah, and it's for us. It was from Har Sinai, when the nation of Israel got the Torah. It's been passed down from generation to generation, from father to son and father to son and father to son until us at here, this year of 5,784. This is our timeline. Okay, we're only going to 6,000. We're here. We're at the end of time. So even, let's just say you don't just die of natural causes or whatever people die from, okay? Let's just look overall, because there's prophecies for the end of time. I have a class about the Hosea 14. It's a prophecy. Hosea's name was Hosea ben Be'eri. Now, if you're like me, you're like, wait a minute, Be'eri. And then you looked at that, Hosea 14, you would see literally everything that happened in Kibbutz Be'eri on October 7th is written in Hosea 14. First of all, let's, again, like I said, we're all going to die. Why do I know that? Because look, we're at the end of time. We know the year, right? Check. We know the year. It's 5,784. We know we're only basically going to 6,000. Check. Why do we know that? Because it's in the Torah. Literally, it's all in the Torah. Okay? So if we're there and there are prophecies for the end of time, and this is our date, and we're only going here, we're at the end of time. 0 to 3,000, 0. Around here, that would be the beginning. I'm not trying to, okay. And then this would be the middle. Okay, Purim happened around here, and I'll talk a little bit about Purim because it's coming up. And tonight, I think it's Purim Katan, because there's 2 Adars. I mean, you know what? Our reality is really, really interesting. Much more interesting than you think it is if you don't know the Torah. But anyway, we have an extra month this year. So we basically have 13 months this year. We have 2 Adars. So it's Purim Katan this month, right now, today, tonight, tomorrow. And so look, if you may know that during Purim, or what Purim is commemorating basically, is when Achashverosh, who was king of the whole entire world at that time, here at some point, decreed that all of the Jews should be killed. I mean, okay, so all of the Jews should be killed. And then they repented and they fasted, and the decree was turned around, and instead Haman was killed, and a lot of the people who were like very excited to kill the Jews, they couldn't wait for the day that they were killed instead. Okay? Sounds a little bit, to me anyway, just kind of like now times. 2024 seems like in the world, with the rise in anti-Semitism, comes from here. Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. Right, it seems like a lot of those guys would be on board. Don't you think? If there was a decree to kill all of the Jews and it was like the purge, it was like totally fine to kill the Jews. Look around you. So, I mean, where am I going with all this? We have the Torah. We know what's happening in our world. If you're observant of anything that's happening in your world, if you're looking around. And we know what happened in the past. So we can learn things from the past. We should learn things from the past. Okay? And you don't have to go back as far as Purim. But, I mean, you could go to the 1930s and 40s. And look at Holocaust. Look at the Holocaust. And learn something from the Holocaust. Why did it happen? What were we supposed to learn from that? Why aren't the Jews already annihilated and dead? And like, why do we persist? Why do we want to persist? What's our point? Just to be like all the Goyim? Seems like it. If you look around, seems like it. That's kind of anti-Torah. The anti-Torah is to behave exactly like all of the 70 other nations that don't come from this line, that didn't get this information, that like are just guessing about what happens after we die and guessing about where we are in our timeline. And maybe time doesn't have any significance at all if you're from the 70 nations, but it does if you're a Jew. Okay, so we're looking around. We're at the end of time. Hosea 14 looks like what happened at Kibbutz Be'eri. Don't take my word for it. Go and look at it. Or go and look at my class. I have a video on it. Okay, we also know that we're expecting at the end of time, or at some point in our history, let's just say we were always expecting the Mashiach. Who is the Mashiach, you may ask? It's from the lineage of the kingdom of David. It's going to be the restoration of the kingdom of David in our reality, in the land of Israel. So we're not going to have a state of Israel. No, we're going to have a kingdom of David in the land of Israel. That's going to allow us to build the temple and reconnect God in our reality. Ask me questions if this sounds kooky to you, okay? Or if you don't understand what the concepts are. I mean, I think that Mashiach has been a concept that's been diluted thanks to some cults that, think their Rebbe is the Mashiach who's dead and who's going to come back. And they wave flags everywhere and it's Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. And I think that it's made the whole concept a little bit, I don't know, not as serious as it should be. We should all be hoping for this and looking for this and trying to get this. So we can get this, so we can get this. It's going to be better. Okay, so we do know that some of the prophecies are coming true. We do know that we're at the end of time. We do know that with those factors, and even if none of the prophecies come true, let's just say, we know that we're still at the end. We know that. So we should be looking around us and seeing if we know what can we understand. So we know there's supposed to be Chevlei Mashiach. What is Chevlei Mashiach? It's like the birth pangs. The birth pangs of the Mashiach, meaning that before the Mashiach comes, this is what is told to us in the Torah and has been passed down from word of mouth, from father to son, 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 until the year 5784. It's been passed down to us. That it's like the birth pangs. When the Mashiach comes, who's going to be somebody from the line of the lineage of the kingdom of David, who's going to be very spiritually enlightened. And what's going to happen, though, is that in our reality, there's going to be like upheavals. So just like a woman who's going to give birth, who's pregnant and about to give birth, it's like the first pain that she has, it's like unclear. Wait, was that a contraction, or was that something I ate? I don't know, or just a tummy ache. Do I have a sore tummy, or am I having a baby? Okay, so I think for me, okay, and it's just me, I think COVID was that one. That was like the first one that was like an indication that maybe you're going to give birth. Okay, but October 7th was definitely a contraction, right? Can we learn anything, please, Jews, please, from October 7th? What we may have failed, me included, from the Holocaust, is that we had to wake up here. We had to wake up from the Holocaust and realize that we have to separate from the Goyim. Our information is very important. The information of God in our reality is very important. This life is not just for nothing. Don't just go have fun. Don't just focus everything on the material. Even the non-Jews know that the less material you are, the more spiritual you are. Great, everyone knows that, right? But there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that. It's not like you don't just go sit up on a mountaintop and, forsake everything physical. That's not the way to do it. It's written, it's given to us. All of the information that we need is given to us in the Torah. And you were given a very smart brain because you come from Abraham and Sarah, who were geniuses. Geniuses. Even I just watched a video by Jordan Peterson, who is talking about how smart the Jews are, and it's genetic. Yeah, it is genetic. Also, go look at the Kuzari. That's a book. The book, Kuzari, was written by Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, and it's in defense of the despised faith. Us, the Jews, we're despised. Sorry to rain on your parade today by telling you that we're all going to die, and also everyone hates us. But yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And we should, for that reason, even if there wasn't another reason, just separate from them. Pull your Jew money out of Harvard. Pull your Jew money. You don't feel safe on your college campuses? Get out of there. Though that information is not for you anyway. That's information for people who are wandering around in the darkness trying to figure everything out. We have actually the information. Everything you need to know is in the Torah. Everything you need to know is in the Torah. Prove me wrong. It literally is. So we said COVID was like the first one. October 7th was definitely a pang of the Chevlei Mashiach. Do you guys want this to take another 216 years to have this Mashiach baby? Are you guys up for that? You want it to be birth pang after birth pang after birth pang for 216 years? I don't. That's why I'm doing all this. That's why I have a YouTube channel to look into the Torah. It explains our reality like perfectly. I don't know how anyone's explaining COVID and October 7th and the rise in anti-Semitism. If you read the Torah, sure, it makes sense. And also, we're at the end of time, and these are Chevlei Mashiach, and these are things that are going to happen. Why? Because the Holy Ari, who is definitely way smarter than you and me, and both of us put together, and everybody put together, who said that because he had godly wisdom. Ruach HaKodesh. And he said that at the end of time, for the coming of the Mashiach, how is the redemption going to come? Because this is going to be the redemption, in case we didn't talk enough about the redemption. The redemption is when God comes back into our reality and basically saves us from who, you might ask? From all of the other goyim, the 70 nations, that are anti-Shemi, anti-Semites, okay? And so he said that that's going to happen with pressure, dochak in Hebrew, to get you to repent. And then after you repent, we'll have the redemption. We want all of the Jews to repent. Why? Because we want all of the Jews to be saved. Otherwise, we're going to have more dochak, pressure. What's the pressure? October 7th. What's the pressure? COVID, I guess, but more like October 7th, more like anti-Semitism. Now, we just had 8 weeks of Shovavim, which was a special time in our calendar where we read Shmot, from when we read the part of the Torah called Shmot until Mishpatim. And it was extra. It was 2 extra weeks this year, where it's like an ideal time to repent, to fast and repent. And so I feel, I'm not a prophet, but I feel like those 8 weeks were relatively calm for the Jews, to see how many people would repent and fast and learn from Purim. Clearly, you can look around you and say something's going on. The rise in anti-Semitism is alarming. October 7th was shocking and alarming. Wake up. That's also what it says at the end of time in the prophecies, especially Isaiah. It says, wake up, Jews. That's what go read Isaiah. Just read paragraph 48 or chapter 48 to 53. There, it's not that much. Read it. Wake up. God just tells you to look back from where you came and realize that you are a Jew, and that means something. It means something. So if you're just dancing around on TikTok, and if you're just trying to explain to everybody on social media how October 7th was bad and we're the good guys and they massacred us, and don't be anti-Semitism. We've done so much for humanity. Look at all the Nobel Prizes we've won. Just stop using your time that way. We could die at any time. And by the way, when we die, literally, like, all of our life gets replayed for us in, like, basically like a movie before everybody. You want your grandparents and your great-grandparents to see all the stupid things that you do? Like, literally, like, repent. And God will just, like, erase that for you. Okay? So when they replay the movie of your life, you're not going to be completely embarrassed and ashamed of how stupid you were. So back to our depressing timeline. And it's not depressing, because you know what? This world as it is going towards chaos. Because this world right now we don't have this connection. God is, in a manner of speaking, very far away from us. God is peace. God is love. God is health. God is truth. God is justice. God is all those things. Look in your reality. What of that can you see? Like, literally, I'm asking you. Tell me. Okay, because I'm actually very optimistic, and I'm happy, and I have the best. I'm living my best life. Like, literally, I'm great. Baruch Hashem. And if I have to die at some point, I'm like, okay, I'm doing the maximum that I can, according to the Torah. And so, say la vie in a way, you know. Plus, anyway, by the way, what I didn't tell you. So the Chevle Mashiach, as we were saying, more birth pangs until everybody's woken up. All of the pressure is just meant to wake you up. It has a purpose. Anti-Semitism, the purpose is to wake you up as a Jew and to get you to separate yourself from the Goyim. Wake up, you're in a coma here. You're like it's described in the prophecies, like Israel is captive, being held captive by the 70 nations. And at this point, you don't even know you're a captive. You're just like, you have Stockholm syndrome, and you're just acting like a goy, and you want to be accepted so much by the goyim. You don't understand what this anti-Semitism is. You're not a goy. You're not like a goy, not at all. You come from a different lineage of Abraham and Sarah. And like I was saying, even Jordan Peterson was talking about how, like, the Jew of the brain, like, Jews are smarter. We're smarter because this is our lineage. Our genetics are different. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to explain that. So another thing that could happen at the end of time, which is now, I mean, basically it's now, is the Star of Jacob, which is Planet X. Have you ever heard of Planet X? If not, just go look into it, because even the Goyim know about Planet X. Planet X. Even though a lot of people are saying, like, why are the elites building bunkers? Why are all the rich people building bunkers? Probably because of Planet X. Planet X is the Star of Jacob, Kochav Yaakov. And it was a prophecy that prophesied in the Torah. That there, I mean, that's something like other people can explain it, like maybe the poles shift in the world, like the North Pole and the South Pole flip, and the polarity flips, and then everything gets like, I mean, like catastrophic natural disasters. What they are trying to tell us is climate change. Okay. I mean, there's a lot going on in our reality. Look, it's crazy, but it all makes sense. You gotta get that information, because I don't know why, because anyway, we're all going to die eventually. Maybe you live 120 years and then you just die peacefully in your bed sleeping, and I hope that happens to all of us, Baruch Hashem. But something's gonna happen after. When we die, that's not it. You don't just fade to black and then that's it. You don't get you don't just like realize and see like your favorite animals and pets at the pearly gates and everything's rainbows and unicorns. That's nonsense. You better know what happens after you die, and it's all there for you. So this is just your little wake-up call. I don't know. I mean, tons of classes from great rabbis on YouTube. My classes are a good place to start, I guess. I mean, I invite you, go look at the one about Hosea 14, Kibbutz Be'eri and Hosea ben Be'eri and the prophecies.